right. So, good evening, everyone. Bruchim habayim. Thank you for spending your one day off, as Rabbi Klein mentioned to me, your one evening off with us to focus on such a chashuva zach as a campaign for Lagolah, which it's different than so many other campaigns, because sometimes when you're giving to yeshiva, so okay, it's good, you're raising money for the yeshiva, it's a very, very chashuv zach, but you guys are going to be going out there, you're going to be leading your own classes, you're going to be leading, in many cases, Be'ezer Hashem, your own communities, and affecting your own communities. So I see this as an incredibly, incredibly important campaign. For transparency's sake, I will say I'm very nogei l'davar. Although I didn't have the schus of being an alum of Lagolah, I did learn Or Sameach in the Beis Midrash for a bit, and in the Kollel with Rav Reisman. I also worked for Or Sameach as the director of marketing. I ran the alumni contacts and communication. I ran the last $4 million campaign from Lakewood. So, constantly in meetings with the Rosh Yeshiva and variety of the wonderful, wonderful mashpiyim, rebbeim, talmidei chachamim at Or Sameach. I'm in quite constant contact with Rav Breidowitz, who I ask shilas all the time till this very day. So I'm nogei l'davar. This campaign has to be successful because of that alone. So I'm very, very interested in helping you guys to succeed as much as possible here. So right now, I'm the chief marketing officer for a crowdfunding platform called the Chesed Fund. Chesed Fund is an unbelievable platform that's helped raise countless tens of millions of dollars for individuals and organizations all over the world. We do it for schools, shuls, for kollel, for yeshivas, and now we have a distinct schos of doing it for Lagolah, which is quite amazing. I have the last personal anecdote is just the memories that I have from the Shiva Aser B'Tammuz, the Kiruv seminar for B'nai Torah there, where my Rebbe Moshe Shapira used to speak every year. And I kind of used the Or Lagolah credential to get into his Milas HaTorah shir across the street from Or Sameach there. So our goal here is to try to help to coach you fellas into being teams for the Or Lagolah campaign, which is absolutely incredible. When I was sitting and looking and learning Yerushalayim, I had a Nokia C2. It had about 100 telephone numbers on it. It wasn't even a flip phone. It wasn't even that fancy. And all the numbers began with usually the word rabbi, and then after that, I had one that said, my wife, and then mama, something like that. So now I have one of these phones, which has 5,000 contacts on it or something like that. That's what happens when you leave Yerushalayim. This though is like an incredible, incredible tool, and so is your flip phone, and so is your email list, because there are a lot of people that don't really know what you're involved in and what you're into. They're not necessarily sure about Or Lagolah or what it is. And Simcha is going to speak a little bit more to this. But when you inform people about an amazing program like this, when they've already received benefit from it, whether they know it or not, when they see that Reb Zev Leff and Reb Breidowitz and Rabbi David Gottlieb and Rabbi Kaplan and Rabbi Klein and all you fine fellows are involved in it, they're going to jump at the opportunity, believe it or not, to participate. So what we're trying to do here is to give you guys the tools that you need so that you feel comfortable spreading this out to your spheres and circles of influence, whether it's friends, family, business associates, or whatever the case. Now on the call, besides myself, from the Chesed Fund is Simcha Rosenblum. Simcha Rosenblum is our chief strategist. He is, cover your ears, Simcha. He is a bit of a wonderkind. Simcha, everything Simcha touches turns to gold. And we've done so many campaigns together already. And Simcha has, whereas I help I have a bit of a marketing mind, and I tend to be involved in campaigns from like 40,000 feet. But Simcha is really your man on the ground. And Simcha has the real nuts and bolts strategy of the things that actually make the campaign, that make it go. That he's the steam in your engine. Simcha's got the strategy, and he's got the skill, and he's got the know-how and the experience. But he's also got a ton of tools for you guys outside of just strategies and suggestions, which you'll be able to use to reach out to your people in the way of scripts, in the way of memory joggers to help you to determine who you might want to reach out to, and all kinds of other things. So without any further hakdamas, I'm going to introduce Simcha and let him take the floor, please.
Thank you, Yoshi. So very excited to be working with you. And Mr. Shem, we're going to be very successful. So like Yoshi said, I'm a resource anytime throughout the campaign. If you have any questions, you want to bounce any ideas off of me, anything that I can do to be helpful, I'm here and available to every one of you. As far as strategy for this campaign, so the essence of any crowdfunding campaign is really the first word, the crowd. Right? It's about reaching as many people as possible and garnering, donations from people who may not otherwise be connected. And what we know is that people give to people. People don't give to causes necessarily. Some people do give to causes, but in the essence of a campaign like this is that people give to people. So even if people have no idea what Lagolah is, and anyway, everyone knows what Or Sameach is. So you have that advantage going for you, that if you reference it as part of Or Sameach, people will understand its significance. But what Or Lagolah means to you is what's going to be the emphasis of this, is that you're calling people and letting them know about this opportunity. Now, first and foremost, the number one complaint I get when we run a campaign like this, or when people are asked to reach out to their networks, is, well, I don't like schnorring. I don't like asking people for money. I don't feel comfortable, and that's a very valid complaint. So what I tell people is don't schnorr. Don't beg people for money. The worst thing you can do is say, can you just do me a favor and donate to my page? Or would you not mind, could you spare a few bucks? Or, whatever you're doing, and you're making it about you, or putting them on the spot to do something for you, and they're doing you a favor. It's totally, totally the wrong message. So what do? How do we make it exciting? And how do we make it non-pressure? And how do we make it that you're not schnorring? Well, by being a giver. So what does that mean to be a giver, right? So anyone can feel free to speak up, but let me ask you like this. If you go to a great restaurant, right, or you hear a great shir, or you have some, experience, you take an awesome vacation, what is the first thing you're going to do when you're talking to people about your experience? You share it with them. Right? You tell them, you have to go to this restaurant. You have to try the steak. Oh, we just got back from Venice. It was the most beautiful city. You have to go. Right? Whatever experience you have that's meaningful, you want to share that with other people. And so when you're doing a campaign like this, that's the message you want to get across. You want to get across to them that you're giving them an amazing opportunity. This is an unbelievable organization that has the potential to change the Jewish world, and by them investing in that, they have a halig in a major institution within the Jewish people. So by giving them an opportunity, by saying this is, people want to know that they're like, thank God we live in a community and a society that values charity, that values, we have a mitzvah of Meiser. Right? So people want to know that their Meiser is going to something valuable. People also like to get a little extra benefit from their Meiser, whether it's going, to some dinner, or whether it's going and, we're getting an aliyah, like if you're using Meiser to purchase an aliyah, or in this case, helping a friend or helping someone they care about and getting, that little extra benefit. People will donate. People will use their Meiser because you're the one telling them. So it doesn't matter if it's Lagolah, it doesn't matter if it's Save the Whales, because you're the one that's reaching out to them, they're going to be inclined to give. And so because you're telling them, here's an opportunity for you, here's an opportunity that you want to be part of, here's something special that you get credit for, that you're the one making a difference, and you're making it about them, then you're doing them the favor. You know, you're allowing them to have that, scar that they wouldn't otherwise have. So that's the real hashkafa here. You're not begging, you're not schnoring, you're not putting people on the spot and making them feel uncomfortable. All you're doing is letting them know about the opportunity. So with that in mind, we've created sort of a packet, a guide for you. I'm going to share my screen so you can I can take you through it a little bit. So there we go. Okay, so everyone should be able to see my screen. So Lagolah Impacting the World, the volunteer information packet. We'll send this out to everybody. The first part here is the cause, just basic information about what the campaign is, why we should get involved in it. Information will have some prizes, other opportunities to kind of reward people's involvement. As far as becoming an ambassador, so if you have not already signed up for your page, so I'll just show you this, that you can click here on the page. And if you're on the page, there's this big red join the team button. Click join the team. All you need to do is put in your email, your name, phone number, your team name. So let's say your name, Simcha, right? So right here, now you see on the bottom, you have your team URL right here. You can copy and paste this and start fundraising immediately. Campaign messages.
Simcha, can I just clarify something? So there's two little sides to this. You see the personal info on the left-hand side and team info on the right. The personal info is only going to be for the back end. That's really going to be for Alter's eyes, Rabbi Klein's eyes only. And your team name, the team info on the right-hand side, is really for the Hamonam to see, and they will visually see whatever you write here. So there's going to be Team Emmanuel, there's going to be Team Yaakov Spitz, there's going to be Team Rafi and Team Mayor, and etc. The campaign message can be whatever you want it to be, but it should be short and sweet. It is a necessary field. So you can say, we love Lagolah. You could say, let's go Lagolah. You could say, go team go, whatever you want to write there, just short and sweet, a couple of words. And your team goal is obviously the monetary amount. You just put in alphanumeric without the alpha, just numeric characters. So if your team goal is 5,000, you just write 5000. That's all I wanted to add. And then Simcha showing you whatever you write as your team name up top is going to generate as your team's custom URL. You see at the very end of this kind of long URL, at the end of it, it says Simcha. That's because he just wrote Simcha as his team name.
Yeah.
That's and your own custom name.
Exactly. And then that way you can just copy and paste this. As soon as you click register, your team will be up. You can start fundraising right away. There's no delay. You can also click this little thing to notify that when you receive a donation, so then you'll get an email every time someone donates on your page, which is
very geschmack. You should do that because dopamine is really, really, really good. Every time you get an email, you're gonna feel like so geschmack. You're gonna be like, oh, this is amazing. Oh, so you should really do it. No, it gives you a sipuk. It shows you the hatzlacha, and you can feel it relatively instantly, depending on the type of phone you carry in your pocket. Or at the end of the night when you come home to your Ramon or to your etrog, so fine. So you'll come home and you'll see it and you'll feel really good at the end of the day, despite the fact that, yes, on the page itself, as Simcha is showing you now, teams are displayed on the page for the Hamanam to see, and you'll be able to sort of gauge your progress in that way. I can see Team Meir Tabak, surprise, surprise, is already up there. We've got Team Moshe David Abraham, which I would probably... Okay, doesn't matter if he wants to put caps or not. And Avi Kaufman, oh, look at that. My old friend Avi. Avi Kaufman's coming into town in not so long. I'm going to take him out to sushi. Yeah, go ahead.
So, exactly. So here you have one, hopefully we'll fill this up with a lot more teams, all 30 of you having teams. And, like I said, if you need any help, just let me know. We can help set this up for you if that's, easier. But this is the basic information. So then next we have the script. So this is more geared towards someone you don't know, but even someone you do know, just to kind of follow along how a call should go. So ideally, anytime you're on the phone with somebody, you should be there in a place where you can take their credit card down, or you can be on the computer and take a donation for them. Because ideally, you don't if you're already on the phone with them, just make sure you get the money in. That way you don't have to chase them. You don't have to worry. Are they going to forget? just end the focus of every phone call should be ending with getting a credit card or getting a pledge. Because at least if it's a pledge, you can let us know so and so wants to mail in a check, or so and so, will give us, X dollars in this month. But that way we can put it into the campaign and know that we have that money coming to us, and we'll keep track of that. But ideally what we want is credit cards over the phone, because that way we just know the credit cards have been processed, we have the money in, and this is just basically the path to follow for the phone call, and what to say if they want to delay, or if they, for example, I say I'll do it later. You can say, look, I know you're intending on doing it later. People get distracted, and so often they don't end up donating. Could we just take a minute now and do it, or whatever you need to say to try to just close on each call. And then on top of that, so we have WhatsApp email templates. So before I go into this, just to emphasize, for many people, right, there's a necessity to have what we call multiple touch points, right? Which means sometimes maybe you'll send someone a WhatsApp or Telegram, or you'll email them or text message or whatever it is, and they'll donate right away. Other times it might take 2 or 3. So we've given you multiple templates, 3 templates. So you might want to try to email or them 3 times, or WhatsApp them, or try one of each different methods until they actually donate. And you
just anecdotally, I just want to add here, anecdotally, these are really tachlistic tools, but the reason that they're here is because not everybody has the gift of gab like me, like Baruch Hashem, because otherwise no one would ever get a word in edgewise. So not everyone feels comfortable and confident or comfortable enough to reach out and ask for money. Now, it happens to be, I'm very shy. I could, if you gave me the microphone at the Aguda convention at the Siyum Shas, you'd have to take me off with like a vaudeville cane. I wouldn't shut up. But if you'd asked me to go and be a team in fundraise, I would be really nervous, honestly. So I got a WhatsApp from somebody who was doing a campaign, not on our platform, and they did not have the benefit of having a good strategist with them. And he wrote me a message. He took on to be a team, and he wrote me, "I'm so sorry. I really hate doing this. But look, I know you get 1 million of these. Okay, my yeshiva really needs it. I'm sorry. Okay, could you please donate? They really need it. I'm sorry again." And I got this like WhatsApp, and I was like, oh man, like it was so cringeworthy, but I don't blame him. It's uncomfortable. Some folks, right? It's a Mishnah. There's an Inei De Elishal, okay? I think the Mishnah was talking about something different than crowdfunding, but there is such a thing. It's difficult to ask people, and so we're providing these for you, not because it's mukruch that you use them, but it might be kedai. In certain cases. If I was going to be on a team, I would definitely use them. I would.
They're also geared with the right lashon to kind of keep it in that hashkafa that I was talking about before, which means keeping it focused on them, keeping it focused on making them the hero, and that they're the ones helping, they're the ones making a difference, and not about you. So, it's kind of built in that way, both in the call script and on these templates, to say that you can make a difference. You're going to give us the support that lets us train the next generation of Jewish leaders. You're going to be the one who is going to influence the next Rebbe that comes to your community. It's you.
Much different, very different nusach from "I'm so sorry. If you could please help a poor beggar." You know what I mean? Very different nusach. You want to keep it positive.
You want to keep it positive, because the idea is that people want to join a winning team. You want to talk about growth and development and how they're going to be able to make a bigger impact. The worst thing campaigns, give us some money or we're not going to be able to operate anymore, or give us some money so we don't close down, or we're going through hard times and we need your help to get by. It's just depressing, and people don't want to support, a sinking ship. Right, but when people want to be playing on a winning team, people want to support something that's doing amazing work, and people want to be able to take credit, frankly, for the work that people are doing. And so for them to say, "Oh yeah, I'm a donor to this and this thing," or I'm involved, with such and such an organization, is a sense of pride, is a sense of nachas. They get a sense of ownership over everything that's being accomplished, and so they want to be involved in that. And that's the message that we're taking with these types of messages. So if three of them here that you can use, each one is needs to be tweaked a little bit to say, oh, I'm an avrich, I'm a student, I'm an alumni, whatever it is. You can tweak them. One of them we have to insert a sentence what it means to you to make it a little more personal. But the idea is you can use all three of these. You can use one of these, whatever you need to. And again, just to keep in mind that sometimes you're going to need to do multiple touch points. You might need to send multiple messages over multiple, mediums, and you might need to make a phone call because, frankly speaking, the phone calls are definitely the best in that a phone call can't be ignored. If you're on the phone with them, someone is not going to hang up on you. Also, just to keep in mind to that, people say one of the things I also hear often is like, well, I'm embarrassed to ask. I'm embarrassed to say, like, what if they say no? I don't want the rejection. And to that I say, well, think about it. Have you ever had a case in your life where somebody who you have a relationship with asked you about donating to something that's a valuable cause, and you said, how dare they ask me to give money to this charity, Or I can't believe that, like a chutzpah. Of course not. If you're in a position to donate, I'm sure you donate. And if you're not in a position to donate, I'm sure you still make that person feel good. I'm so sorry. I really wish I could do something, or I really wish I could do more, right? You're going to make them feel good about what they're doing, as opposed to you're not going to, bite their head off or make them feel embarrassed or make them feel low. So no one here has anything to be concerned about when it comes to asking. You only have what to gain. So with that in mind, so who are we asking? So here we have the memory jogger. So here we have family, home community, friends, services, like, who are people in your life, whether they're professional, personal, business relationships, and there's a list of everyone who you might have, and you can kind of start to think, oh, do I have someone that fits this category or not? And who are they? And, how much can I ask them for? I tell people to think of it like what do you call it? The electoral college, right? Let's say you're president. To become president of the United States, you need 270 electoral votes. So here, if you want to hit your goal, right, you need, let's say if your goal is $5,000, right? So that means you could have one person who could donate 5,000, or 5 people that donate 8,000, or 10 people who donate 500, or so on and so forth. So when you make a list like this, it kind of helps you prioritize who to call in what order, because you can say, oh, my brother-in-law, I bet he could give me 360, and my uncle could probably give me 1,000, and you can figure out who you're going to call in what order, because what's the path of least resistance to hitting your goal, and what's the path you can take to increase your goal if you hit your goal very quickly. People can often find that they have the potential to raise a lot more money than they realize. I tell people to think, on a basic level, one way to get started is to think about your simcha list. I imagine most people or everyone on this call is married. You're in Lagolah, right? So that means you probably got married within the last couple of years. So to that, I would say, look at your wedding invitation list between you and your wife, right? Look at all the people who are at your wedding. And can't you imagine that most of those people, if you let them know about this opportunity, would give $18, $36, $5,400, $1,000, depending upon their means? Like, if you're close enough to somebody that you invited them to your wedding, you're close enough to them to let them know about this important and amazing cause that they can give their macer to. So that's the way to think about it, and that's the way to approach it. And then just start executing upon it. And Mr. Shem, everyone can kind of make those lists, send out the messages in the right way, use these tools, and you'll be very, very successful. So that's the long and short of it. I'm here. Let's maybe take some questions.
Okay, question number 1. What number are you guys on Telegram?
My cell phone is 516.
Just a second. Add contact. Here we go. A second. +1 516. Yeah.
205.
205.
1010.
1010. And your name, because
Simcha Rosenblum.
Okay, so my question is, could you send these sheets? I'm gonna telegram you. Would you be able to send us these sheets?
Yeah. I already sent it to Rabbi Klein, and Rabbi Klein can forward it to everybody.
Okay. So just if you could send
I
it through.
personally think that it's kedai to get him to print them, because it just having something tangible. It might not be Shabbos reading, but I still think that having something tangible depends how you work. But for me, I really, really like having something tangible to hold. I can't stand the screens. Although if I could show you the size of the screen I'm looking at right now, you wouldn't believe it. But still, I don't like them. I have one of those like Samsung, it's like wraps around your entire brain. Anyway, so but get him to print them out. It's very kedai. It's very kedai. And if you want to make a Telegram group, also, Mayor, that would be, Simcha can add me. I'm not so familiar with Telegram, but I have it.
The group is up. I just added Simcha.
Oh, good. So
Okay.
I'll post in the Telegram group. I'll also send the document to the Telegram group. I'm also going to add the call, this call that we're having right now. Once we're done with it, I'll send the recording. I'll put it on YouTube, and I'll send a YouTube link with it.
And would you add me to the Telegram group also?
Of course. Give me a second. Let me just create a new contact here.
I'll post. Okay, I could post my number in the group or whatever the case.
What's your number?
561.
Just to be difficult, okay?
Yeah, 561-322-0525.
And
I still got the 613 in there. 5613. You got it?
So what's your name, sir? Yossi Felber, got it.
Not Yossi, Yoshi.
Oh, sorry, didn't.
It's really Yoshi Moshe Ben Esther Peshalea Yisrael. If that's easier for you to write, then you're really, really fast at writing.
No.
Let's go. Who's got questions? We want to answer them. I've got a question. I have a question that Walter told me for sure it's going to come up. So if no one else is going to bring it up, I'll bring it up. I just did this for 2 other campaigns. How's that one, Simcha?
I mean, has anyone else done this recently? Has anyone else been involved in
No, I spent the last 6 months darshaning why these campaigns are wrong. So yeah, this is going to be awkward.
It doesn't matter how many drushes you come up with. They've literally built yeshivas, kailalim, communities, care of programs.
They also created a flip-load of shalom bias issues.
Really?
Yes. Because, every time I post a campaign, he gives me, and now I must give him, even though, we can't pay our mortgage.
Really?
You don't have to give
that's
equal.
That's the first time I ever heard that in my life.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm not saying you're wrong. I just never heard such a thing.
Also, that's a good example of what I was talking about before, though, of where you could say to somebody, look, I really appreciate you gave to me when I was fundraising for such and such organization, and I'm just not in a position right now to help, but I'm Richard Shem, when I am in a position, I would love to donate, but Hatzlacha, thank you so much. And no one's going to be, offended by that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm saying if only that would work, I'd agree with you.
I've experienced it firsthand,
Okay.
Listen, we've only done like hundreds, if not more, of these campaigns. So we kind of see this stuff. But if you have somebody that has a shalom bias issue because of a Chesed Fund campaign, please put them in touch with me. I'll make sure that I get them the right help, because I never heard such a thing. Now, what did anybody do a campaign? All kidding aside, did anybody do a campaign recently and they feel this way? You did. Rafi, what's up?
Hi.
Manishma Gevel.
Baruch Hashem. I mean, I don't feel burnt. I don't feel burnt out of it. I mean, I do feel a little bit hesitant to ask all my people again, but yeah.
Got it. Simcha, what do you think, Simcha? What can we tell him?
Sorry, one more time. I couldn't hear.
He did a campaign recently, and he feels a little bit nervous, a little bit hesitant to reach out.
The first thing I would focus on is people who didn't give to you on that campaign. That's the first group I would go to and say, maybe, this is something that would be interesting more. And then number two is the people who did give to you on that campaign. I would try to see of who could have done more, right? Who could have, given more, and maybe they just weren't as interested in that cause, but would be more interested in this one, and ask them, if someone gave you $36, but they're the kind of person that could easily give 100, so then come to them and say, hey, I have this other thing I'm fundraising for now. This is what I do. I'm part of this. And maybe this is something you'd be find more appealing to your senses. Again, people give a lot of Macer, like more than we give most people credit for. So if that's the case, then they're splitting it up usually amongst many different organizations. So it's people will give because you're the one asking, but people also will give because they want to give to something valuable. So I wouldn't be offended.
Now, I would add on to this that you can be really creative, and I know Mayor's got he's got the Brentkeit, he's got the energy. So it really depends on your energy level. But there are people. So I just gave a little talk at every once in a while when we do these campaigns, and it's semi-local to where I am. I'll speak at certain events. So I spoke at a kollel the other night, and someone asked me to. We took questions afterwards, and there was a little schmorg afterwards. And somebody came up to me. He didn't ask me when the floor was open, but he came up to me, and he asked this question. He said, Rabbi Yosh, I just did this for the last, for 3 organizations I was a part of. And he said, what do I do? And I know he was telling the truth because he hit me up because he's a director for NCSY. So I was the director of education for Southern NCSY in South Florida for a little while after I left our Sameach. And I know they're incredible at fundraising. They're so good at it. So he hit me up. And I told him, yeah, I know. I just got your WhatsApp, I gave to you. And he said, so what do I do? So we were standing there thinking, and a lot of times, when somebody has a kasha, this is true when a little kid asks you a question, sometimes if you just listen, they come up with their own answer, and it's really, really good. So I listened to him, and he started coming up with ideas. He's like, and so I'll just share them with you. He said, you know what I'm going to do? Because this was his community that now we're raising money for. This was Beis Mordechai, Mayor, that we were talking about when you came on the phone and eavesdropped. The Beis Mordechai is it's an awesome community. It's really for like Shana Rishona couples, but they're like B'nai Torah, but they're working. And in Shana Rishona, they're not going to Kailo. And it's incredible, but the place is a Torah true place, and they have a Kailo Boker, and they have a Kailo Erev, and they have a lunch and learn, and they have so many programs for these guys and the ladies also. So he said, you know what I'm going to do? He said, I'm going to put on my Facebook. Now, I don't have Facebook or any of that, but you could fill in the blank for however this would work. Whoever donates the most to my team, I'm going to give them a prize. I'm going to give them an Amazon gift card, or I'm going to give them something, right? So if you can make creative ways to do that. Now, I don't know what you fellas do or have. I don't know. I know in our Sameach, there's some Seifrim. I don't know if any of you are Seifrim. You could say, I'll give you a nice mezuzah. I'll give you something good. Whatever it is, you can be creative. Come up with cool ways to kind of motivate people to give to your team. That's a good idea. And you can talk to Rav Alter. Maybe Rav Alter will, sort of help you along in that direction and help incentivize the people. That's a really, really cool idea. There's another cool idea that he said. I didn't say this idea. He said there's another guy who feels the same way. Now, I tend to not really machshav this kasha so much, only because every organization is different. So like Lagolah is definitely very, very different than so many organizations. It's not like just another yeshiva, and it's not that there's such a thing as just another yeshiva. They should all be gebanished, Ken Yerbu. but you know what I mean? It's not Hatzalah, and it's not an emergency campaign, and it's not a yeshiva campaign. It's something totally unique and different. And different causes speak to different people. So, like, somebody sent me something that was on a cause for kidney transplants, right? My wife wants to give a kidney. That's her in life. She has a dream to donate a kidney. To me, I really want my kidneys. Like, I hope they keep functioning until 120. I'm not a big tzedekis. She's a big tzedekis, but different causes, like, to different people, even that live in the same household, can totally appeal to them differently. So this is so unique that you might be able to send it to the same people and it will translate as something totally different. I don't think that they'll look at you like the biggest schnorr in wherever. And or if you have two guys that have the same consideration, this cute idea that this Kiruv rabbi who I know, he decided to do is trade contacts with someone else from the organization who also feels tentative, and say, I'm the shliach of this fellow. We traded contacts to raise money for each other's teams. And sometimes that'll tickle somebody's funny bone, or it'll inspire them to give, because they'll say, oh, that's cute. Like, I see they're getting together. They're really doing this as an organization, and they'll give. These are just ideas. You know, a lot of times when these issues come up, we can brainstorm and come up with chidushim. But those are two chidushim that I heard just within a week's time, and I thought that they were both great. They're both great. Okay, any other questions? Do we have? Let's go. Let's hear what you guys got. What's on your minds? What are you thinking?
If everyone's concerned, then if no one has any concerns or questions, I expect everyone to hit their goal.
How do you set like a realistic goal as a target? I've never done this before, so I just say like I'm going to raise 20,000.
So I say it like this: is look at the memory jogger. That's exactly what the memory jogger is for, right? Is to say who are the people that you have that you're going to contact, and then make some sort of goal for what you'd like that person to donate. You know, every person, could go through their contacts and think, I think so-and-so will give 36. I think so-and-so will be good for 100. I think so-and-so will be good for 180. And just sort of go through and make your list. I would say maybe start with your list of top 30 to 40 contacts, and then put a number next to each one. And those are like the lowest hanging fruit, let's say, of the people you're going to contact, and then set a goal based on if all of those people or most of those people would donate somewhere around what you think they could or what you think they would, then that's what your goal is. So if you get 10 people and you think all those 10 people could each give $100, so then your goal is $1,000, right? Very, very simple. And it gives you that roadmap, because then once you have that, now when it comes time to actually start working on it, so then you just follow that roadmap. You've already done the hard part, and now it's just actually putting in the time and effort to actually reach those people. Any other questions?
Doesn't sound
Okay.
like it.
How about what's a nice way to cold call people you haven't spoken to in 20 years?
I would use it as an excuse. I mean, look, surprisingly, since I had this recently, I made a discovery in a campaign that I was raising money for myself, and on that campaign, what I decided to do is I just kind of went for it. Is I took all of my contacts. I was actually with Yoshi that day, where I was in his office, and I downloaded all of my contacts onto a spreadsheet from Google, and I uploaded them into the software that can let me do a mass text to all those phone numbers. So I was texting like everything from like my secular college friends from before I was from to my parents and my what do you call it, my people in my shul, and girls I dated when I was still single, like whatever contacts have on my phone, I just sent it to everybody. And like things like 2,500 people got a text from me, about this campaign, but like it was just easier than actually going through, and I don't really care. Like people know it's a mass text. But then I got people donating like a friend of mine who I went on my first trip with when I came to Israel for the first time to learn, like I haven't spoken to him in 10 years, and like he gave a donation, and I reached out to him and I said, you know, so nice of you. How are you? You know, like, and we reconnected and we started talking and schmoozing because of that. So, and he wasn't the only one.
Wait a minute, Simcha, not the ladies that you dated in the past, right? Not
No,
them,
no, no,
Simcha.
no.
Okay.
None of those ladies made it.
Okay.
No, but the point being is I didn't care if you were saved in my phone as a contact. You got a text message from me, and like I couldn't believe it. Just from that, like raised close to $2,000.
Really cool. So I'm going to be totally honest here, Manuel. I got a text message from somebody who I try to do like a little Malava Malka thing, Shabbos Mavarchim, with some of my chevra. There's chevra over here from Or Sameach. There's Or Sameach chevra. So I try to do a little thing. I've been trying to get this one guy to come. He won't come. Okay, he won't come. He's very busy. He's always busy. And then I get a text from him out of the blue, give me money. And I felt very upset. I felt very bad about it. You know what I mean? So I'll be honest with you. You know, you have to be diplomatic, but you don't have much to lose if you haven't spoken to them in 20 years anyway, Emmanuel. You know what I mean? There's what to gain. There's not much to lose from a friend like that. You know?
Right. I hear it's good.
And anyway, this way they'll have the schus. Kind of like a chaver, you know? They'll have the schus. Listen, the surprising and amazing thing about teams and about doing these campaigns is that sometimes, and I'm speaking from experience, sometimes we completely surprise ourselves. And the Hatzalacha that you can look forward to, it's going to give you a tremendous chizuk, because it's also going to show you there are a lot of people that are behind what you guys are doing out there. And when you're sitting out in Yerushalayim and you're steiging, and you know, and the world is turning, and Joe Biden's the president, and rockets are flying, sometimes, you know, you're not sure if the whole world is connected to what's real and what's true and what's normal. And then when you get these emails and you start to see, hey, you know something, these people are actually stepping up and they are behind this. It's really, really a big chizuk. It's awesome. And I've seen it so many times. The biggest pushback that I get when I talk to an organization for the first time, most of the time what I get is there's no way we could do teams. Or when I talk to teams, it's, you know, I don't know. Simcha holds very stark that every team can raise $5,000. Any frum yid can raise $5,000 unless they themselves are lo leinu v'lo lechem in a situation. But even an avrech, okay, anybody. We did a campaign not too long ago for a certain kollel, okay. It's a really beloved kollel, but it's not in the tri-state area, and people give differently in the tri-state area. They give differently in town than they do out of town. That's just a fact. It's not a blanket statement. There are some amazing organizations that have been able to raise a tremendous amount of money out of town, but it's so part of the culture in Lakewood. Lakewood is not just an Ir Torah, it's an Ir Shel Chesed in America. Like, I've never seen anything like it before. I never saw anything like it before anywhere. Except for that Kimcha the Pisgah on what is that? On Kvish Echad by the Breslov Shul there. That's a pretty crazy Kimcha the Pisgah. But other than that, I never saw anything like it. The kollel, there was a younger man I spoke at their event, and there's an avrech there, and he was a very fine person, quiet person, and he came up to me and he said, you know, is it possible for me to raise my team? Would it be possible for me to raise my team goal if I hit my goal? And I said, you know, I can't answer you a halachic shaila, but if you're, you know, I've seen a lot of people do that. You definitely could. What's your goal? So he said, I'm going to do the $5,000. That's what you recommended. Everyone can do $5,000. So so I said, you could do it. You definitely could do it. And he said, yeah, I could do it. Can you keep raising it? I said, you can raise it until the sky. The platform is totally scalable. You can raise your team goal multiple times. He said, okay. And he didn't have he didn't have a computer in his pocket. He had a flip phone. Okay. And I watched this younger man's, I watched the campaign page in general, but I watched his goal, and he hit $5,000, and he raised his goal, and then he hit $10,000. He raised it to 15. Then he hit that. He raised it to 20, and he hit that, and he raised it to 25, and he made more than $25,000 for the Kailo on his flip phone. And I was so impressed, and it's. I think he was completely surprised also. So I took on a Kleina Kabbalah and Shavuos time that I'm probably gonna be going to that kollel in the mornings, and it turns out that he's the guy that sets up the chabrusas. So he was very impressed that he did that, and now I'm very impressed with that. Hopefully he's gonna find me a nice chabrusa over there in the morning. But this is this is what happens. It's sort of like you can see tremendous yat d'shemaya when these causes are l'shma, and it's for the right reasons, and you don't have to have special skills and talents, even though I'm sure all of you are developing your special skills and talents with Or Lagolah and all kinds of public speaking classes and all kinds of stuff like that. But this stuff is really, really, it's you put in the hishtadlis and you'll see that you'll be surprised by what ends up happening. And Simcha, what do you think? We're
I think we're
gonna
good.
field a few more questions. You have a few more questions, anyone?
Got questions, please, by all means.
Now, also you can you can take our numbers, you can take our emails, and you can ask us questions. You can ask us for support. If you need a shoulder to cry on, you give me a call. The shalom bias issues with the whole mortgage, tell them if they need help, the mishkanta, whatever it is, call me. We'll do a campaign for that. But right, if you do a campaign for the amount of people that gave to Chesed Fund campaigns, that's but I would like to ask you guys something now. There's a little Aziz the Kedusha, but if you haven't created a team yet, just go ahead and go on the page right now and create your team. Like Simcha, walk them through that really quick. You want to walk them through that?
Yeah, as I showed before, I brought it up before. Hold on, let me share my screen again. Just
Simcha, what does your T-shirt say? What is that? An anime T-shirt?
Yeah, don't bring it out. Don't bring out the fact I'm wearing T-shirt. I just took my wife to the
Cowboy Bebop? What is that?
My wife is 8.5 months pregnant. We just got back from swimming, so I could give her some relief. So yeah. Let's see. Okay, so we're on the screen. Here's the campaign. So all you have to do is go to the campaign page, which is on the document they sent you, or you can just go orlagola.thechesedfund.com/fundraiser.
Here, let's put it on the chat. Let's put it on the chat now. I want these boys to do it.
And then all you have to do is click. It's on the chat right is the document, which tells them how to do it. But all they have to do is just click the join the team. Click the join the team button, put in your info, click register, you're done.
So hold on 1 second. Wait, what's the every time I put in or I get or emet. What's the URL, Simcha?
orlagola.thechesedfund.com/fundraiser. You could also buy impactingtheworld.com.
Wait, can you just put that in the chat? Can you put it in the
It's
chat
on the
here?
chat. It's on the chat.
It is? All right, so boys, sign up. Join the team. Let's do it. How come I don't see it on the chat?
See. It's too much money. We buy .org. We could buy
here.
We could buy impactingtheworld.org for $10 and then just make that the URL.
Let's do it. Executive decision. Just do it.
Just do it.
Yeah, just do it. That's amazing.
That's happening right now.
Not going to be any. Once we're done with after 120 somewhere, there's not going to be any good URLs left after us.
That's true.
Impactingtheworld.org. Come on, that's awesome. Who owns these URLs? The Chesed Fund?
That's the fund.
Oh,
It's all on my simchat.com account.
okay.
Yeah. Okay, let me check it out. Okay, this is gonna be good to go in a second.
Simcha,
Yes.
can you copy the link of the URL and paste it into the Zoom chat?
Yes. Chat.
Oh, all right. Everyone who we still have, click that. That's going to be the landing page for the main campaign page, which is really cool. Obviously, we're buying a cool URL, which is also pretty cool. There's a lot of cool stuff going on. Is it? How come it's not loading? Uh-oh. Is yours loading?
No, I'm having an issue.
Computer doesn't allow me in for some reason. It says potential risk, whatever. And like for security reasons, it doesn't allow me.
I'm missing an H.
Yeah, don't miss the H. Yeah. You sent it again?
Yeah, I'm sending it again. There you go. That's why.
Oh, yeah. That's the good stuff. There it is. Okay. Oh, Rafi, my man. Emmanuel's there. I was texting Avi Kaufman just now. He said he could join the meeting in person because he's apparently he just landed stateside. He's near me now, but he's not coming. Good.
Okay, any other questions, guys? Sorry, we don't keep all of you this long.
Yeah, we need Mendy and we need Yaakov Spitz up there. See, this is very geschmack. Look at you, Emmanuel. He's going for it. If anybody could or would, please reach out to those who could not be here tonight, and just let them know a little bit of what we spoke about, what we saw, and you can please feel what?
They can watch the video.
Yeah, and I'm gonna post my email address is pretty easy to remember. It's yoshi@thechesedfund.com. Yoshi@thechesedfund.com. I also have a Yoshi at ohr.edu, but I'm using that less and less these days. Or the other one that's really easy to remember is allabouttorah@gmail.com. That's a personal one. If you guys have any questions, if you need anything, please reach out and do not be shy. We're here for you. We are very, very interested in making this campaign go, and we're your team. We're your support team. We're your crew. So please reach out to us. And thank you all for joining us this evening, taking your one day where you didn't have a class in the evening and spending time, giving your time to participate in this campaign. I think it's going to be awesome. I think it's going to go, and it's going to ensure the continuation of your program for this year, for next year, and Be'ez Hashem for many, many years to come.
Okay, anyone has any questions, feel free to reach out. You have my email also on the packet. And yeah, I'm very happy to help. And okay, impactingtheworld.org is live. So if that's easier, just literally send people impactingtheworld.org. Yeah, let's go, everybody.
The impactingtheworld.org doesn't give you your personal page, so people might not want to do that because they want people to donate on their page.
If you want me to update it, just to let me know. I can make it like, for example, I can make tabak.impactingtheworld.org. I can make a subdomain, and that'll link to your personal page.
Right. So, well, right. So I'll tell you, because the problem is if you share impactingtheworld.org with your friend and then he goes and donates just on the main page and you don't get credit for it, so yeah, you'd probably want to somehow make sub pages.
We can update that, but so two things. Number one is we can if they don't do it for some reason, we can update it. Number two is when you click on the donate button, right? It asks you, do you want to contribute to with a team? So you can choose whichever team you want to contribute to. It's very clear that it says no team, or they can pick which team it is. So most people I find will put the right person's team in. And like I said, if you for some reason we can give credit to them after the fact, I can just go in on the back end and add it to the right person's team. So it's not, again, it's the kind of thing, if you see somebody and you're just quickly trying to get them the link, impactingtheworld.org is just a quick way to get somebody to the page.
Got it.
Yeah, but if you want a personal link with that URL, like your last name, just message me, send me an Instagram saying, hey, can you set me up with my personal link, forwarding to with that page. I'll do it for anyone who wants to. It takes 2 seconds. It's fine.
Sending you now.
Great. Good. Disco Mitzvahs, thank you so much, everybody, and I'll send out the recording in a little bit.
Thank you guys very much. Yoshi, I'm very proud of you. You look like you're doing the right thing, and you're using all your skills and speaking like you